Yeah, I mean, the reason why I wanted to get you down is just obviously the first track I kind of jumped on for you was Do You, and like just seeing the whole live performance of that, as well as just kind of learning a bit about your story, about where you came from, coming from foster care. So I kind of wanted to get into that. Well, let's start more with like why you got into music and like who were the people you kind of looked up to growing up?
Yeah. 90s baby, that was my vibe. So I would say, I don't know, Fugees, Tupac, like Lauryn Hill, to be honest, like more so than even Fugees. That was like, you could say the inspo. But then I guess being fostered in Bournemouth, I was just exposed to the commercial hip hop. So
of course.
Mace, I remember there was a guy called A Plus that was on a Now 98, Now 99, I don't even know what year it was. Will Smith was like...
Is he big for you?
He was like, I was about to say the bread and butter of my school days, but like talent
Really?
shows, I was Will Smith, getting jiggy with it. Miami, it's here that I like it, whatever that tune was called with Cisco. That was the wave of like when I was. It's funny, there was racism in Bournemouth, but then basically when I hit secondary school, like doing athletics, doing talent shows, like that's when, you know, the tables turned, you know what I mean? So that was kind of the early days of getting into music. And then I'll say, like, you know, there was a wave of Eminem and even Pay As You Go, like...
Were you into many UK artists growing up?
Yeah. So I was just, I guess I was just, it's funny how, like, you know, think about genres now, making music myself, or people put me into a box. But back then, I'm saying all of these American influences, but I remember I loved Wiley when he was in I think his first stage was Phase One. He's got a song called Nicole's Groove.
Right.
And that was, or just like whatever I was getting off Kazaa, like I Will Not Lose. I think if it's not from Roll Deep, it's from whatever Wiley was called from before then. Boy in the Corner, obviously from Dizzy. Like I was just into everything. Like Genius Crew, that not even around now, Shiesty, whatever I was exposed to, all of them. So that was like early influence. But I'd say I took music seriously. Yeah. When, well, Phase One was when, let's say, like the backpacker UK hip hop scene was there, where it was like basically Jest, Sway is not really of that wave, but Sway was kind of in that wave. Klashnikov, Kaiser, all of that stuff. That's when I was in Bournemouth. I was with a group in college, and basically we were supporting all of the acts that are coming from London to Southampton.
And what was that work, or was that like just like kind of just promoting? Or was that... We
were just the support act for any London act.
Oh, okay, cool.
It was a supporting. So that was kind of the first wave, but... And yeah, it's kind of funny looking back now, because that was... It was a sick phase, like Low Key as well. Low Key still, obviously doing his thing. But I still didn't see the vision fully, because I guess when you're in Bournemouth hasn't necessarily got a scene. It might have a scene now, but it's not like Bristol, it's not like Manchester, it's not like Birmingham. So I was just like, all right, cool. Like, so let me just do my thing.
What was the kind of the first like kind of music you started to make? Like, what was it? Did you start writing? Did you pick up an instrument, or was it
garage music at the time?
Did you DJ? Have you DJ'd at all?
MCing.
Just MC all day.
It was just garage. But the thing is, garage, I'll spit over anything. That's the thing. So it's like, I'll take back it when I was like, I don't know, 14, 13. As I said, Will Smith getting jiggy with it. I remember in music education, we had like on the keyboard, they've got like set beats in them. So I just used to change the tempo, and we just used to have fun and like, let's put the BPM as high as we can, and Rick spits like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. But then obviously it got to a point, it's just like, all right, cool, let me own the bars. And I guess fast forwarding on, what actually happened is that when I was at uni, after uni, I guess I felt a bit lost as like a creative.
Of course.
And I was like, what's my place in this world? And I would say, long story short, I went to Nigeria, and I felt like I had a calling that basically God or the universe, whatever
Yeah.
people want to call it, was like, hey, you've lived this experience in care, and if hip hop's really the voice of the voiceless, you need to tell your story within hip hop, to be the voice that you didn't have when you were younger. Because you know, I've heard Eminem joke about the foster kids, and I've heard stuff like this, but like DMX was massive. I remember. Well, I didn't even know DMX fully, but like. Like he was from care, well he had kinship care, but it's basically under the umbrella of foster care. He was fostered. Even Eddie Murphy was fostered. Like Steve Jobs was adopted. If I knew these things, I felt I would have felt more comfortable and more confident about my situation.
That's interesting.
So that's
been your calling, and that's it. That's what you're trying to.
That's the channel.
That's good.
Yeah.
Nah, it's nice. I think it's good. It was good to get a different perspective in hip hop. I think that's what hip hop's all about, telling your stories, and like as long as it's diverse and as long as it's different to people, it's always going to stand out. And I think there's always an audience for hip hop. There's always an audience in hip hop, if you know what I mean. Even though it's so diverse, but like, you know, people come from care, or people maybe are disabled, for example. You know, people, you know, black people, or like someone from a white poverty background. There's always different kind of voices, which is nice. So it's good to kind of get your take on it.
I mean, music's a universal language, so it's for everyone.
Yeah,
really. And I feel like with hip hop and urban music and how it gets, like, let's say, marginalized, I guess at first it's quite easy. When you're younger, you just do what you're inspired by. So like at the end of the day, if like when it comes to like, I don't know, hood music or drill or whatever, like if like that guy's from your block and he's doing that and he's doing bits, of course, like that's inspiring you. So like I want to do bits as well. But I think you get to, for me, it got to a point where I was like, let's say back then when I was 16, 17, I wrote a tune like called Get That Dough. And it's just a bit like, it's just cliche, but that was the music I was listening to at the time, like getting money, like I was getting like, and I was going through my stages like, all right, I'm semi-independent now. I got my moped, like I want a bit of money, like, you know what I mean? So it is what it is. I don't really
trying to manifest it into your life.
But I would say though, in the sense of how I still think now, my very first song was called Believe.
Right.
And it was basic chorus, like if you believe then you succeed, if you don't you won't, get money or get broke. But the main point was the way I look at like The Secret, Law of Attraction, all this stuff. I was thinking that at 15, so I was ahead of my time, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's the wave. But yeah, you develop and you start to understand like the depths of who you are and what you can actually bring that's unique to the game.
Yeah, of course. Now I saw your interview on BBC Radio where you kind of talked about how a lot of great superheroes have come from like struggle and have come from foster care. I thought it was a really interesting take. So I kind of wanted you to, if you could like elaborate on a bit, and what kind of, and how has that influenced the music you're making?
Yeah, well, I would say it's gonna be a massive influence, because when I rapped about my experience in foster care, although I can talk about it quite easy now, it was therapy for me at the time, because there were certain things I couldn't say to my foster parents, mainly because I just didn't think they were interested. Like, it's almost like, you know, go to uni, get a proper job.
Yeah, of course, everyone does.
So at least like there's no bias if I write my emotions on the page and do what I want within hip hop. So I would say that was the first step. And you know, some family members were like, hey, you're Nigerian, like you're not allowed to be saying family things in music. Cool. And
was that quite difficult to take?
But I guess when something's that personal, it's, especially like with the internet and how you can get certain opinions, although it wasn't actually from internet, it's from family. It's like you don't know how to take it when people are basically saying, oh, sounds depressing. But then now I'm mature enough to know, like, hey, like, was I supposed to speak about it in any other way? Like, yes, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. But I learned from all of that. So now I'm in a phase where it's like, all right, cool. I know not to necessarily get too personal, but the bigger story, let's say, that connects to everyone is the fact that, you know, when I really understood like how foster care and popular culture could be changed and the narrative can be changed. It's like at the end of the day, all superheroes are fostered, adopted, or orphans, and it's like if I really double down on that idea, then I can connect to people just like how Spider-Man connects to people, like Matilda connects to people, like Batman, because that's actually a powerful narrative to tell to young people, to be like, hey, like, you're not just haven't got no family or you couldn't be loved or all of these like negative statistics. Like, no, you're a superhero.
Right.